Right? Hello. I'll go to the little actual thing while we wait for the games to actually begin. Ooh, it looks like my connection is not that good right now. Hopefully that does not become a problem. I guess we will see. Okay. Um, well, after a few scheduling changes on my part in real life, uh, and also me not realizing which types of games were on which hour. We are now properly here for some MMOLB Season 5 playoff commentary, frog-mentary. I don't know if there's really a name for this yet. It is sort of a fun, cute portmanteau, if you will, and you know I will. Uh, you're here on WFROG 106.2 FM Atlanta. I don't remember if I came up with a fragmentary DJ name for myself last time. It's very possible that I did, and it's also possible that I didn't. I really don't remember. So if it's different, then I guess this is a different character than the last guy. Who cares? You've got me, DJ. Oh no, you know what? I bet I did, and it was some sort of like bug. Toad bug? Was it DJ Toad bug? Let's go with that. You're here with me, DJ Toad bug. As we gear up for the fourth game. Yes, the fourth game of the second round of the season five postseason. We've got current updates here on our on the standings. Here in the Clover division, we've got 1 to 2 games, Archers versus Tree Frogs. And then over in the Pineapple division, the Baltimore Lady Beetles are up 2-1 over the Dallas Instruments. I believe I've correctly updated the pitchers, um, so that it will be the correct starting pitchers for these games. But I suppose only time will tell. Uh, I also meant to check whether this would be a home or an away game. Let's find out together. It'll be so beautiful, and also I don't know how the it'll look as I look this up. Okay, tree frogs. Hello, my partner's on the deck now. Schedule is what I wanted to look at. Okay. This game will be a home game. All right. We are here at the canopy. That's what our park is called, right? Okay. Well, just a few minutes here before the games kick off. Um, why don't we take a look at some happenings around Atlanta, the tree frogs. Oh, look at that. That's so beautiful. My phone automatically gives me the weather for Atlanta. You may think, hey, don't dox yourself. Don't worry, I don't live in Atlanta. My phone just doesn't ever know where I am. Well, in Atlanta currently, it is 80 degrees, mostly sunny. Uh, pretty classic. Um, nice late August. Oh boy, it sure is almost the end of August, huh? Nice late August, late summer evening, here at the canopy. We've got, love looking around to see, uh, all of the fans who are dressed up for Dragon Con, which is currently going on in Atlanta, probably has some overlap with MMOLB attendees. Um, yeah, I suppose while we've still got about a minute before, or possibly longer, I actually don't know. Um, but seeing as we've got at least about a minute uh, until the games start, uh, I'd love to take a moment to talk about today's sponsor, which is this. What kind of frog are you again? This magnificent tree frog, Latoria splendida, the image of which uh, is available in the public domain. Um, so Today's sponsor is both conceptually the magnificent tree frog, but also this beautiful image of one just hanging out on a tree. Today's frog fact, of course, is that the largest tree frog in the world, sorry, the largest frog in the world, I don't actually think it's a tree frog, is the Goliath frog, which can weigh over 3 kilograms or 7 pounds. Now, why don't we see if the games are beginning? Now that it is, in fact, 8 p.m., and indeed they are. Oh, and I even got the pictures right. The world is so beautiful. All right. St. Louis Archers versus the Atlanta Tree Frogs. First up, we've got uh, Avery Gunn pitching for the Tree Frogs as the robo-ump calls play ball. Uh, Look at that. It is, in fact, sunny weather in the game, uh, which is true. It's beautiful and true. Gaia Gillespie first up to bat, and on the very first pitch, a cutter down in the corner hits a fly ball to right field and flies out to right field George Maeda. Leilani Graham next up to bat for the Archers, also on a first pitch cutter, hits a line drive and will get on base, getting a single, but the Yilmaz is able to prevent any additional bases. Enrique Biswas next up to bat. Now, the last time that I did commentary was in fact also for Tree Frogs versus Archers. That was 2 seasons ago in the wild card round, as there's a couple of strikes looking here over the plate for Enrique. Uh, and then a ground ball to second base, as I remember what I was trying to say, right, a couple seasons ago, in the wildcard round, a round which the Archers did defeat the Tree Frogs for, as Daniel Hofer comes up. Enrique Biswas forced into a ground out, getting Leilani Graham out, but Biswas is on base. Daniel Hofer now well, swings at the first 3 pitches. Nope, not true. Swings at a pitch, then looks at 2 balls that are all three in the same area. Then pops one foul and strikes out looking. That will bring us to the bottom of the first as we go into the first half inning for the Tree Frogs to bat. Luca Khan on the mound for the St. Louis Archers as Aileen Danvers comes up as the leadoff hitter. He's going to look at a ball. Um, and another ball, and then a foul ball that have all come in at once. Luca is not hesitating between those pitches. Another foul ball brings the count to 2-2. As I and Ailey Danvers strikes out swinging as I actually finish a thought that I was having, which is something that I know how to do. Uh, currently the Tree Frogs are up 2-1 in this series. So who knows? Maybe this season will go differently. As Andrew Mueller gets a couple of strikes looking, doesn't like those pitches, but doesn't have much of a choice here. Will swing at it and it goes foul, keeping the count at 2-2. Lucan throws one low, gets a ball, and on the next one, Andrew Mueller hits a ground ball to left field off of a fastball right in the center, and will single. Teresa Ryan next up to bat, a call up from the Ducks, I believe. I believe Teresa Ryan comes from the Carefree Silly Little Ducks. Strike looking and strike swinging, followed by a fly ball to left field here from Teresa Ryan. And she will fly out to the left fielder, Clyde Farthington. Onus Tyler next up. I don't remember whether Onus is a call up. I feel like they are. Strike looking here for Onus. And then a pop up to second base, but I don't 100% remember. I believe possibly an early call up, uh, who pops out to Tony Hoover. Uh, next up to bat, once we get to the bottom of the second, will be George Maeda, who I do know was a call up. But for now, it's time for the top of the second. Avery Gunn back on the mound with Kim Atkins. Looks at a ball. It's a strike looking, bringing the count to 1-1. Strike looking, 1-2. A foul ball keeps the count at 1-2. And strikes out looking. Veronica Amos next up to the plate here. Ball, 1-0. What was I looking for? I was checking if Onus Tyler is a call up. Home team Atlanta, Georgia. I don't think so. Veronica Amos is a line drive to second base after a foul tip, but will line out to second baseman Claude I. I have long made it known that I'm a fan of Claude I's name. As Ruby Camara comes up to the plate. Um, you know, I'm not sure if it's intentionally evoking Genly I, the protagonist of The Left Hand of Darkness, but great book. Shout out to the Left Hand of Darkness Lights, a team. I don't know what league they're in, but we've got a full count here after a couple of foul balls and then a handful of balls, and that trend will continue. Ruby Camara walks. Clyde Farthington comes up to the plate, swings at a knuckle curve, can't get a hold of it though, and then looks at a ball that's just a little further outside the zone. Clyde Farthington hit by the pitch, sending Ruby Camara up to second. Tony Hoover is next up, the end of the Archers lineup. Here, sees a ball and hits a line drive to right field, trying to capitalize on these two runners already on base, and will knock it right on out of the canopy. Does in fact manage to capitalize, putting the Archers up 3 here at the top of the second. Back up to the top of the order now for the Archers. Gaia Gillespie hits a ground ball to first base on the first pitch. And grounds out to Aileen Danvers. The Frogs defense managing to stop the lead from growing any further at this time. George Maeda, up first here in this half inning, looks at a ball and will swing at a pitch that's in the zone, but it will go foul. Another foul ball. This one off of a pitch that was outside the zone, but Maeda will hold back on the next pitch, bringing the count to 2-2. But we'll swing and strike out on the next. Oh, I need to remember about my stuff, about my little ding dongs. The Yilmaz hits a line drive and lines out to shortstop Guy Gillespie on the first pitch, bringing Claude I up. Hits one foul, then sees a curve go a little wide. Another ball here, bringing the count to 2-1. And Claude I hits a fly ball to right field and flies out to Vikamara. That will conclude the bottom of the second here as we head into the third with the St. Louis Archers up by 3 over the Tree Frogs 0. Runs currently on the board, but there's a lot of game left. Leilani Graham up to bat here. Hits a foul ball, then sits on a ball that's outside the zone. His line drive to right field. Right into George Maeda's glove. Enrique Biswas up for their second plate appearance here. Strike swinging. It's a foul tip. Uh, hits a foul ball, keeping the count at 0-2. Ball 1-2. And strikes out looking. Yay! All right, next up to bat, Daniel Hofer, over 1 so far this evening. First pitch is a ball. Second pitch is high but in the zone, and Daniel will hit a ground ball to right field and manages to get on base with a single. Kim Atkins next up to bat. Ball 1-0, and a ground ball hit right towards the pitcher here, which Avery is able to turn into an out, getting out of the top of the third. Tree Frogs back up to bat here, Mateo Che, for their first plate appearance of the game. Foul ball 0-1, followed by a strike looking 0-2. Another foul ball keeps the plate appearance alive. And Mateo Che strikes out looking. Richard Klein next up to bat. Ball 1-0. Another ball, 2-0. Richard Klein choosing patience here. Foul ball, 2-1. Strike looking, 2-2. Another ball fills up the count. And Richard Klein strikes out swinging. Aileen Danvers next up hits a ground ball to third base and grounds out to end the inning on the first pitch. Into the bottom of the third, the Archers still up 3-0. Veronica Amos up to bat. Ball, 1-0. Another ball, 2-0. Another ball, 3-0. Avery Gunn painting the corners here a little. And ball 4-0. Nope, not 4-0. Whatever. Veronica Amos walks on four balls, one in each corner. Uh, and Ruby Kamara gets a foul ball, 0-1, and then a strike looking. In the meantime, Veronica Amos caught stealing second base, and Ruby Kamara strikes out looking. Clyde Farthington next up to bat. Looks at a cutter in the bottom corner and swings at another cutter. It's a little further outside the corner. Can't get a piece of it. Foul ball keeps the count at 0-2 here. And Clyde Farthington strikes out swinging. To end the top of the fourth. Oh, I forgot to do the strikeout thing for Ruby Kamara. Whoopsie, you get another one. Andrew Muller uh, takes the plate here in the bottom of the fourth and flies out to center fielder Kim Atkins on the first pitch. Teresa Ryan next up to the plate. Strike looking, 0-1. Strike swinging, 0-2. And Teresa Ryan strikes out swinging. Otis Tyler comes up. Luka Khan throws a ball. Another one. Another fastball outside uh, the strike zone here. Another ball for a 3-0 count, followed by a foul ball. And another foul ball to fill up the count here. Another foul ball. Otis Tyler perhaps trying to tire out the opposing pitcher, but it is unable to capitalize it and will strike out swinging, leaving the Atlanta Tree Frogs scoreless after 4. Here in the top of the fifth, Avery Gunn still on the mound for the Tree Frogs as Tony Hoover steps up to bat for the Archers. Gets a strike swinging. Foul ball, 0-2. Ball, and then strikes out swinging at another low pitch. Gaia Gillespie here, back up at the top of the Archer's order. Swings at a low knuckle curve, but is able to get enough fit to send it foul. Another foul ball hit here, and followed by a line drive to right field. But Gillespie will line out to George Maeda. Leilani Graham next up to bat here. Graham 1 for 2 on the night. Will get a strike looking and a foul ball. Then a ball to bring the count to 1-2. Another ball will even it out at 2-2. And Leilani Graham will strike out swinging to end the top of the fifth. George Maeda up to bat. And we'll hit a ground ball to the shortstop here on the first pitch. Grounding out and bringing up the Yilmaz to the plate. Yilmaz hits a ground ball to second base and grounds out. Followed by Claude I here. Looks at a ball on the first pitch. Strike swinging. Gets a little piece, but not enough to prevent the next pitch from going foul, bringing the count to 1-2. Hits another one foul. Ball brings the count to 2-2. And Claude I strikes out looking, ending the fifth inning. Enrique Biswas up to bat now, here in the top of six here for the Archers. Looks at a couple of balls, bringing the count to 2-0. Strike looking, counts, brings the count to 2-1, and another ball, brings it to 3-1. Another foul, sorry, not another foul ball. First foul ball of this plate appearance will fill up the count. Followed by another foul ball. And Enrique Biswas strikes out looking. Daniel Hofer next up to bat. Looks at a ball, and then another. And then a third. Avery Gunn really favoring that bottom corner there. And we'll change it up a little, but not enough to prevent another ball. Daniel Hofer walks. Kim Atkins is going to be next up and will hit a line drive to center field on the first pitch here. And will single while Daniel Hofer gets up to third base. I'm hearing things connecting and disconnecting from my computer, and I don't know what, and hopefully it doesn't cause problems. Atlanta Tree Frog's manager makes a mound visit, bringing in reliever Lollipop McGonagall, who I will update the thing with. That's the wrong one. Veronica Amos swings at a strike and then hits a line drive to left field. Will triple, batting in 2 runs from Daniel Hofer and Kim Atkins, increasing the lead on the part of the Archers to 5-0. Ignore the things that are showing up because they just happen when I hit buttons. Uh, okay. Ruby Camera, foul ball followed by a couple of balls, and then a strike looking will bring the count to 2-2, followed by a line drive to center field, and will line out on a sacrifice fly. Veronica Amos is able to tag up and increase the lead to 6 on the part of the Archers. Clyde Farthington next up to base, next up to bat. Home base, I suppose. When you bat, you do go up to a base, but will strike out swinging on 3 pitches. Ending the top of the 6th here, Tree Frogs looking to liven up their bats a bit here in the final third of this game. Hopefully get on the board, maybe even manage to bring things back around to advance to the finals. Mateo Che looks at a ball, then swings at the next one, uh, then will sit on the following pitch, all outside the strike zone, uh, followed by one more ball to bring the count to 3-1. And on a 4th ball, Mateo Che walks. Richard Klein next up to bat. Called strike here. Richard Klein's going to hit a fly ball to left field, but will fly out to left fielder Clyde Farthington. Aileen Danvers next up to bat. 0 for 2 on the evening. Will look at a ball, then hit a fly ball to left field. That will also be caught by Farthington. Andrew Moeller next up to bat here for the Tree Frogs. Hits a ground ball to third base. That will ground out, ending the bottom of the 6th here. Start at the top of the 7th. St. Louis Archers return to bat. Starting with Tony Hoover, who will hit a foul the ball, hit a ball foul, I think is what I was trying to say there. Then looks at a ball, looks at a couple balls, and then hits another one foul, bringing the count to 2-2, followed by another ball that will fill the count right up. And Tony Hoover strikes out looking. Guy Gillespie up to bat. Will hit a fly ball to right field off of a slider and flies out to George Maeda. Leilani Graham next up to bat. Looks at a ball. Then another curve outside the zone. Foul ball, 2-1. Another ball goes into the dirt, and a fourth ball. Leilani Graham's gonna walk. Two outs here in the top of the seventh. St. Louis Archers up 6 to the Tree Frogs 0. Enrique Biswas up to bat for the Archers. We'll see a couple of strikes, couple called strikes. But we'll also look at what's called a ball. Chase is after a pitch for the first time this plate appearance, but it goes foul, and Enrique Biswas strikes out looking to end the top of the seventh here. As the seventh top of the seventh comes to a close. I don't really know what I was saying there. Tree Frog's back up to bat here, beginning with Teresa Ryan, who will look at a ball and then hit the next pitch, right curveball that lands right in the middle to left field, and is going to get on base with that. Bonus Tyler next up to bat. Over 2 on the evening. I'm gonna turn my mic down a little bit because I think my roommate is possibly getting home. Strike looking 0-1, followed by a ball to bring the count to 1-1. Strike looking 1-2. Notice Tyler will strike out looking. Teresa Ryan still on first base. George Maeda, next up to the plate, will hit a ball that goes foul, and then looks at a strike, bringing the count to 0-2. George Maeda hits a line drive to center field, and will single, bringing Teresa Ryan around to third base. Uh, I believe this is the first time the Frogs have had batters in scoring position this game. Maybe we had someone on second earlier. I don't totally remember. The Gomez swings at a high pitch, and then at one that's in the zone, but swings a little late, bringing the count to 0-2. Ball 1-2. As the noise here in the canopy increases. St. Louis Archers managers making a mound visit here, but starting pitcher Luca Khan will remain in the game. Claudine next up to bat for the Tree Frogs. Will hit a ground ball to the shortstop on the first pitch here, and will ground into a force out. Just two innings of regular play left here, with the Archers still up by 6 runs. Daniel Hofer up to the plate. Foul ball, 0-1. Followed by a ball. Another ball brings the count to 2-1. Third ball here. Strike looking. Fills up the count here for Daniel Hofer. And Lollipop will strike out Daniel Hofer. Kim Atkins next up to bat. 1 for 3 on the evening. It's a strike looking, followed by a ball. Gets a little piece of the next pitch, but that goes foul, bringing the count to 1-2. Followed by another foul ball. Followed by a third foul ball, keeping the count right where it is. Another ball will bring the count to 2-2. And Kim Atkins strikes out looking. Veronica Amos next up to bat. It's pop up to the shortstop on the first pitch. A slider in a corner in the bottom corner. It will pop out to Teresa Ryan. Ending the top of the eighth. The scoring opportunities for the Tree Frogs are dwindling, but they're not over yet. Mateo Che up to bat here. It's a ball, 1-0, followed by another ball. Looking over to the Pineapple League as Mateo Che gets a strike looking. Looks like the game there. Another ball here for Che. Is in the top of the eighth with the Dallas Instruments up 4-1 over the Baltimore Lady Beetles. Another foul ball here for Che here in the Clover League will fill up the count, followed by another ball as Mateo Che walks. No outs here in the bottom of the eighth. Richard Klein up to bat. We'll look at a ball. Can't afford to be swinging at other things here today. Will get a strike swinging as Mateo Chase steals second base, but Richard Klein will get a couple more strikes here and strike out. Aileen Danvers next up to bat as Mateo Chase steals third base, excuse me. Really wanting to be in scoring position, get on the board if at all possible. Uh, but there is a strike swing and a strike looking here for Aileen, followed by a foul ball, brings the count to 0-2. Aileen Danvers hits a ground ball to second base. Stadium, the fans are going wild as she will ground out, but Mateo Che is able to come around and score. Tree Frogs on the board now, still trailing by 5 runs, but they are no longer in danger of being shut out here by Luca Khan. Andrew Muller looks at and then swings at some strikes, followed by a ball, but Andrew Muller will strike out looking. Also, sorry, I forgot to do this. Frog score! But that will be the only score that is going to come around here in the eighth inning. Start at the top of the ninth. Ruby Kamara up to bat for the Archers. Will swing at a pitch, at a slider in the dirt, uh, but does not chase the changeup that goes to an upper corner. Ruby Kamara will hit a ground ball to first base here on the third pitch and grounds out to Aileen Danvers. Clyde Farthington swings and set foul on the first pitch, followed by a ball to bring the count to 1-1, excuse me. Clyde Farthington hits a line drive to center field here. And the Yilmaz is able to hold them at first, but unable to stop them from getting on base. Tony Hoover gets a strike swinging. Followed by a ball. Then another strike brings the count to 1-2, followed by a ground ball hit to center field, which is going to be another base hit. Tony Hoover gets a single. Clyde Farthington advances to third base. Tree Frogs manager making a mound visit here. but Lollipop Magomedov will remain in the game. Guy Gillespie up to the plate here. Tony Hoover's going to steal second base. As Guy Gillespie hits a ball foul. Looks at a couple of balls to bring the count to 3-1. Followed by a fourth ball. Guy Gillespie walks, loading the bases. Leilani Graham next up to bat. We'll look at a ball. Followed by a foul ball, bringing the count to 1-1. Strike looking 1-2. Another foul ball. Keeps the count at 1-2. Another foul ball. Leilani Graham hits a pop-up to third base. And pops out to Andrew Molnar. Lollipop Magomedov is going to be leaving the game, replaced by Eden Bone. Shout out to Eden Bone for having a name that does not contain any of the letters that cause things to happen on my stream. Enrique Biswas. Strike swinging followed by a strike looking, and will strike out swinging to strand all three runners on base and end the top of the ninth. Still trailing by 5 runs here as we enter the bottom of the ninth. Atlanta Tree Frogs potentially last opportunity to bring things around in this game. Teresa Ryan, first up, will hit a ground ball to the pitcher and will ground out, bringing up Onus Tyler to bat. Looks at a ball. Will swing, but misses the curveball. Strike looking here brings the count to 1-2. And Onus Tyler will strike out looking. George Maeda is 1 for 3 on the evening. Got a single earlier this evening. Will strike looking at the first pitch. Sends the ball foul, then looks at one that's outside the zone and strikes out looking. Well, that will end this game. The St. Louis Archers take this fourth, yes, take the fourth game in this series. So we will be going to a game 5. Here in this series. Why don't we head on over, take a look at how things are going in the Pineapple League. Game's still going. We're on the last out here. Dallas Instruments still lead the Lady Beatles. Um, let's see, what if I move this down a little bit? uh, as we watch the end of this game play out, but it is looking reasonably likely that the Pineapple League will also be going to a game 5. as indeed the Dallas Instruments Daisy Doll is able to make the final out of the game, which will go to the Dallas Instruments. Move this back up here. Well, since we are going to another game in this series, let's see, that'll be at 10. I am going to send this to a little intermission. I'm actually realizing now I don't know that I have a mic input set up on that screen. So I will say here that actually, you know what? Well, while I'm here, well, while we're here, I'm gonna update the pictures. Right. And then I will go to a little intermission to return uh, to return later on. So yeah, see you at the next game. I was gonna say, oh, just kidding. There is an audio input on the intermission, but there's not. Okay, bye. Oh, oh, cool. My mic is on. I am back as we gear up for the next game. Fair warning, I'm kind of tired. So, uh, it's possible that I will not be as good at it. Um, because I am probably going to go to bed after this game. But that's okay. Um, yeah. Game five of round two of the season five playoffs. Um, since it's the same real life day, I've left the Toadays sponsor and Toadays Frog Fact the same. Let's see. I'm gonna take a little peek at the Kumite results. Everyone in the watch party is quite excited about the Chesterfield Funny Furry Freaks who have moved on. Here in the uh, Amphibian League, who do we have? We- Oh, the Left-Handed Darkness Lights. I was talking about them earlier. They're in the Shiny League. Big fan of that team name. All right, let's see. We've got the Zealandia Avian Archival Roosters. They're amphibian, right? Yeah. Whoopsie! I closed my window. That's so embarrassing. Let's fix that. Hello? There we go. It's fixed. Oh, right. I was in the middle ah, looking at if there's anyone else. Okay, We've got the Roosters. We've got the Nanaimo hockey team still in the running. Wait, did they lose? I didn't actually check. They were in this round, but they may have gotten knocked out. Where did they go? Oh, they did get knocked out. Just kidding. And the Kitty Hawk Flying Aces. I believe that's all the only two that are remaining. And also, it is almost time for the Greater League to begin. Okay, we shall let it load and head on in here. This is an away game for the Tree Frogs uh, as we play ball. In Danvers, first up to the plate at the ball, and it gets a strike looking to bring the count to 1-1, followed by a foul ball for a 1-2 count, and Alien Danvers strikes out looking. Andrew Mueller next up to bat gets a little piece of that corner sinker, but it goes foul, followed by another foul ball. And then a third foul ball, followed by a regular ball, and another regular ball, bringing the count to 2-2. Another foul ball will keep the count where it's at. And Andrew Mueller hits a ground ball to left field that will be a single. Teresa Ryan next up to bat. Let's take a look. All right. Andrew Mueller steals second base on a ball. Another ball. Yep, and a third ball. Can't quite get things in the zone. It looks like Huda Bojang has a three grand luck on for his Onus Tyler next up to bat, gets straight looking. Uh, Huda Bojang has a 2.973 ERA this season, as Onus Tyler hits a ground ball to the shortstop and will reach on fielder's choice, loading the bases here for the Tree Frogs. George Maeda next up to bat, sends a ball foul and will hit a ground ball to third base, which grounds into a double play. The Archers are able to strand, well, I suppose only two would technically be stranded on base since one of them got out. Uh, with Andrew Mueller out at home, George Maeda out at first base, bringing us to the bottom of the first inning. Juliana Charleston pitching for the Tree Frogs. Guy Gillespie first. Archer up to bat. Looks at a couple of balls. And will hit a fly ball to center field. That gets right out of the park. Bringing a putting somebody on the board, putting the Archers on the board with one run here in the bottom of the first. Leilani Graham was the next batter after that, ground out, followed now by Enrique Viswas. Uh, Looks at a ball and strike looking. Another strike looking and another ball brings the count to 2-2. Another ball fills up the count. And Enrique Viswas, safe ground ball to first base, which will be a ground out. Daniel Hofer up to bat. It's a fly ball to left field. It's going to be a double. Kim Atkins next up to bat. It's a strike looking. Another strike looking. Couple of foul balls. It looks like my connection is also maybe a little bit sleepy. Kim Atkins hit by the pitch. Advances to first base, putting two on for the Archers here in the bottom of the first. Looks like it's a cloudy evening here in St. Louis. Let's find out if that's beautiful and true for real life. As Veronica Amos is at the plate. It's a ball and a foul ball. The Archers fans are going wild here. Uh, as Amos gets a strike looking, followed by a foul ball. Counts here at 1-2. Their ball brings it to 2-2. What was I going to look up? I super forget. See, front Amos hits a ground ball to left field, and singles loading up the bases. Two outs here in the bottom of the first. Right, I was going to see if it's actually cloudy in St. Louis. Ruby Camara up to bat, gets a strike swinging and a ball. Followed by another ball. What do you know? It actually is mostly cloudy in St. Louis. So beautiful. Straight swinging 2-2. Ball 3-2. Oh, we got some maximum baseball happening. That's fun. That's always fun. Another foul ball will keep maximum baseball alive. And Ruby Conroe will hit a line drive to left field. It is going to be a single. Daniel Hofer batted in. Clyde Farthington next up to the plate. It's a strike swinging, then a strike looking. Followed by a ball here, bringing the count to 1-2. Another ball makes it 2-2. Another ball. We cannot get enough baseball. We gotta max it out once again, apparently. And Clyde Farthington strikes out looking. Juliana Charleston able to get out of that quite sticky situation with 1 run scored for the Archers as we enter the top of the second inning. The Yilmaz is going to be first up here with a couple of balls. A throuple of balls, followed by a foul ball. That plate discipline faltering a little bit here on the fourth pitch, followed by a strike looking, 3-2. And the Yilmaz strikes out looking. Claudine next up to bat. It's a ground ball to second base on a low sinker. Grounds out to second and first base. People. Mateo Che next up to bat for the Tree Frogs. Swings at a fastball, but can't get any of it. But will sit on this fastball outside in the bottom corner. Followed by another strike looking, and then a foul ball to bring the count to 1-2. And Mateo Che strikes out looking, bringing us down to the bottom of the second. Juliana Charleston, let's see, has a has a higher ERA on the season than who's the who's the pitcher? It's literally on my thing than Huda Bojang. With a where'd it go? 4.8, 4.9, I guess if you round. As Tony Hoover fills up the count, followed by a line drive to third base. And lines out to Andrew Moore. Guy Gillespie next up to bat, sees the ball. Another ball, 2-0, followed by a strike looking, 2-1. Guy Gillespie, hit by the pitch, advances to first base. Leilani Graham next up to bat, called strike. It's a foul ball, followed by a ball to bring the count to 1-2. One out here in the bottom of the second, as Leilani Graham hits another ball foul. Ball, 2-2. Another ball to fill up the count. And Leilani Graham walks. Guy Gillespie advancing to second. Enrique Biswas next up to bat. Ball, 1-0. Followed by a strike looking. Then a pair of foul balls. And a ball, keeping the count at, or bringing the count to 2-2, excuse me. Couple more foul balls here. at the 2-2 count, followed by a ball to fill the count on up. And on a fourth ball, Enrique Biswas walks, loading the bases. The home team fans seem to be quite happy about this, hoping to extend the Archers' lead. Daniel Hofer comes up with a couple of balls, count to 2-0, followed by a foul ball, bringing the count to 2-1. Strike looking will fill up the count. Over in the Lesser League Kumite, it looks like the final game of the previous day. I definitely remember what day that is. Uh, Daniel Hofer will walk Guy Gillespie right on home with the fourth ball. Kim Atkins next up to bat. Uh, down in the bottom of the 16th currently, the Batavia Bean Riders and Rough and Ready Hot and Reds are still at it. With a strike swinging here from Kim Atkins. It's going to hit a ground ball center field. And will single, bringing home Leilani Graham, extending the Archers' lead to 4 here in the bottom of the second. As Veronica Amos comes up to bat. Veronica Amos strikes out looking. Only the second strikeout, I believe, of this game so far. Ruby Conrad up to bat. It's a ball, 1-0. Ball, 2-0. Juliana Charleston, not having the greatest control. Well, I don't know. The last was three pitch strikeout. Ball, 3-0. Foul ball, 3-1. Strike swinging will get us once again for the third time some maximum baseball, but this time it ends in a strikeout. Top of the third here. Atlanta Tree Frogs back up to bat. Richard Klein up on the. I almost said up on the plate. That's not the right place. A couple of balls pitched here to Richard Klein, who is at the plate. Third ball. And the first pitch inside the zone goes foul. Followed by a strike looking to fill up the count here for Richard. Line drive here to left field. It is going to get Richard Klein on base on a double. Aileen Danvers next up to bat. Will single on a line drive on the first pitch, putting runners on the corners. Andrew Mueller up next. Ball, 1-0. Foul ball makes it 1-1. Couple more balls brings the count to 3-1. And Andrew Mueller will hit a pop-up to third base. That will be a pop out. Teresa Ryan up to bat. Looks at a ball and strike looking as over in the Pumet. I'm getting word that the final game has concluded. Congratulations to the Rough and Ready Hot and Reds for their walk off as Teresa Ryan hits a couple of balls foul and then strikes out looking. Otis Tyler next up to bat gets a foul ball. Two outs here with runners on the corners in the top of the third. Atlanta True Frogs looking to get on the board. Ball 1-2. And Otis Tyler hits a line drive to right field, but will line out, bringing us to the bottom of the third. Clyde Farthington up to bat for the St. Louis Archers. It's a foul ball, and then looks at the ball, followed by another foul ball, foul ball to bring the count to 1-2. Clyde Farthington strikes out swinging. Tony Hoover up to bat. It's a foul ball, followed by a strike looking. Oh, I didn't even notice that we've got Tasmanian Caldwell now on the mound. Allow me to fix that. Uh, Tony Hoover grounds out, bringing up guy to lefty, who grounds out on the first pitch, bringing an end to the bottom of the third. George Maeda up to bat, looks at a ball, and then another. Gets a ground ball to third base, which will be a ground out. The heel mass gets a ball and then a strike looking. Foul ball 1-2, followed by a ball 2-2. And the Yilmaz strikes out looking. Claudine next up to bat. Foul ball followed by a ball. Strike swinging brings the count to 1-2. Foul ball keeps it there. Couple more balls will fill up the count here with two outs. And another foul ball will keep this plate appearance going. Cloud hits a ground ball to the shortstop. That will be a ground out, bringing us to the bottom of the fourth. Leilani Graham up to bat. Will swing, will chase a slider. Strike swinging brings the count to 0-2. And Leilani Graham strikes out swinging. Enrique Baseball's up to bat next. It's a fly ball right to the Yilmaz. Daniel Hoover up next. It's a strike looking. And a foul ball. Ball brings the count up to 1-2. It's another ball. Will even it out 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Daniel Hoover strikes out looking. Already, Tasmanian Caldwell doing a better job of striking out batters. So we head into the top of the fifth inning. Over in the Pineapple League, the Dallas Instruments are up 3-0 over the Baltimore Lady Beetles. Mateo Che for the Three Frogs, looking at a ball, and will single on a line drive to the right field. Richard Klein next up to bat. It's a strike looking. Mateo Che steals second base, hoping to get into a better position to capitalize on any base hits Richard Klein might get. Foul ball here brings the count to 1-2 for Klein, and they will strike out looking. Aileen Danvers up to bat next. Couple of balls. Go high. Strike looking on a pitch that's in the zone. Followed by a ball to bring the count to 3-1. Aileen Danvers hits a line drive to center field. And will single, bringing Mateo Che to third base, and Andrew Mueller up to the plate with runners on the corners and 1 out. St. Louis Archers manager making a mound visit here, but will not be pulling starting pitcher Huda Bojang. Andrew Mueller hits a foul, hits a ball foul, followed by a ball and a strike looking, brings the count to 1-2. Another ball brings it to 2-2. Andrew Mueller will strike out looking. Teresa Ryan up next. It's a strike looking. Followed by a ball. Teresa Ryan hits a ground ball to right field. And will single Mateo Che gets on home, putting the tree frogs on the board. With two outs, still with runners on the corners here in the top of the fifth. Bonus Tyler, next up to bat, gets a foul tip and looks at a ball. Strike looking as Teresa Ryan steals second base. And Otis Tyler will strike out looking, stranding Teresa Ryan and Aileen Danvers on the base path. Into the top of the fifth here, going down to the bottom for the Archers up to bat. Once again, the Tree Frogs have saved themselves from a shutout and hopefully will be able to put some more runs on the board in the coming innings. Kim Atkins is at a slider that goes outside. Will swing at a higher pitch and hits a line drive to left field that will line out to Bonus Tyler. Veronica Amos, next up to bat, called strike on the first pitch, followed by a ball. Another ball brings the count to 2-1. Strike swinging will bring it up to 2-2. Full count here on another ball. And a foul ball. Fourth ball, Veronica Amos walks, bringing up Ruby Comer onto the plate. Veronica Amos steals second base on a ball. Another ball brings the count to 2-0. Foul ball. Strike swinging, and then a foul ball. And Ruby Comer strikes out looking. Over in the Pineapple League, they are already at the bottom of the eighth, still 3-0. Instruments up. As here in the Clover League, Clive Farthington is up. Strike swinging. Ball brings the count to 1-1. Another ball. Another strike swinging brings the count to 2-2. And another ball will fill up the count. Clyde Farthington's gonna walk. Tony Hoover hits a ground ball to third base that'll single to load the bases. Tree Frog's manager making a mound visit, but is not going to be pulling Taz from the mound at this time. Guy Gillespie up next. Say strike looking. Followed by a ball. Another strike and another ball will come close to filling up the count. Another ball will do it. This is, I have forgotten how many times, but yet another maximum baseball as Guy Gillespie hits a line drive to right field. It will be a single. Another RBI for Gaia, bringing Veronica Amos home. And that'll do it for Tasmania Caldwell. It's time for another pitching change. As oh boy. Lollipop has a lot of letters that do things. Leilani Graham hits a pop up to third base on the first pitch and will pop out to Andrew Moore, bringing us up to the top of the sixth here. Once again, a 4-run deficit for the Tree Frogs. George Maeda up to bat. Hits a ball, then hits a ground ball to the pitcher. And will ground out. Yilmaz with that A ball. And then a strike looking. Strike swinging. Brings the count to 1-2. And the Yilmaz strikes out looking. Claude Ag hits a ground ball to second base on the first pitch. It will ground out, bringing us to the bottom of the sixth. Enrique Biswas up to bat for the Archers. Sees a ball. Then another ball. Then a third ball. But instead of sitting on a fourth ball, we'll swing at it, which goes foul. But one more will do it. And Enrique Biswas walks. Daniel Hover up to bat next. Couple of foul balls hit off there. Followed by a ball brings the count to 1-2. Another ball brings it to 2-2. Another ball will fill up the count. And Daniel Hoover strikes out looking. Oh, missed calling on that. Third ball that filled up the count. Kim Atkins now takes the plate. It's a foul ball. 0-1. Another foul ball. 0-2. Kim Atkins strikes out swinging. Veronica Amos up to bat. 2 outs and 1 on here in the bottom of the sixth. Sees a ball. Enrique Biswas steals second base during another ball. Foul ball will bring the count to 2-1. And Veronica Amos hits a ground ball to the shortstop, which will be a ground out. Heading up to the top of the seventh now, over here, catching up a little bit to the inning over in Pineapple League. They are at the top of the ninth now. Dallas Instruments now leading by 9. As Mateo Che, here in the Clover, will get a foul ball and then a ground ball to third base, which will be a ground out. Richard Klein, next up to bat for the Frogs. It's a strike looking, 0-1. Another strike looking. The third called strike. We'll bring Aileen Danvers back up top of the batting order here. It's a strike looking and a ball. Brings the count to 1-1. Another ball. Third consecutive ball. And one more will walk Aileen Danvers right to first base. Andrew Mueller next up to bat. It's a ball, 1-0. No strike looking. Is a little contact on the sinker, but not enough to prevent it from going foul. And then a couple of balls will fill up the count here for Andrew. But Andrew Mueller will strike out swinging to bring us to the bottom of the seventh. Ruby Kamara up to bat. It's a ground ball to second base on the first pitch, which will be a ground out. Clyde Farthington up to the plate. We'll hit a ground ball to the shortstop. It'll be a single. Tony Hoover up to bat. Looks at a ball. Gets a strike looking. And hits a fly ball to center field, which will be a fly out to the Yilmaz. Guy Gillespie up to bat. It's a foul ball, 0-1. Strike looking, 0-2. And Guy Gillespie strikes out looking. Over in the Pineapple League, the game has concluded. The Dallas Instruments shut out the Baltimore Lady Beetles 9-0, 9-0, to advance to the finals. Game here is not over yet. I think, right? It's first to three in this round, right? Teresa Ryan over here hits a ground ball to right field, which is going to be a single. And Miss Tyler next up to bat. Gets a little bit of a foul ball, followed by a fly ball to right field, which is going to be a two-run home run. Which will cut the deficit here for the Tree Frogs to just 2 runs, which suddenly feels a lot more surmountable. As George Maeda hits a ball foul and then looks at a ball. Hits another ball foul to bring the count to 1-2. And George Maeda hits a fly ball to right field. That will be a fly out. The Yilmaz up to bat. It's a line drive to left field. It's going to be a double. Claudine looks at a ball, then a strike swinging. Foul ball brings the count to 1-2. And Claudine strikes out looking. Mateo Che next up. It's a ground ball to second base on the first pitch, which will be a ground out. Bottom of the eighth here. Leilani Graham up to the plate. Not up to the plate. Yes, up to the plate. I don't know the difference between a plate and a mound. They're the same to me in my heart. Uh, ball 1-0, followed by a line drive to center field here from Leilani, which is going to be a line out to the Yilmaz. Enrique Biswas. It's ball 1-0. Foul ball. Strike looking at another foul ball at a 1-2 count. Another ball will bring the count to 2-2. And another foul ball will keep it there. Enrique Biswas hits a fly ball to left field. It's going to be a fly out here to Otis Tyler. Daniel Hofer up to bat. It's a ground ball to third base, which is going to be a single. Kim Atkins up here, 2 outs and 1 on, but not for long, as Kim Atkins lines out to Teresa Ryan. That'll bring us up to the top of the ninth. As closer Andrea Bean shout out to Andrea Bean for having a name that does not contain letters that make things happen on my stream. Richard Klein will hit a ground ball to third base. That will be a ground out here on the first pitch. Aileen Danvers next up to bat, 2 for 3 on the evening. Ball, 1-0. Crowd is going wild. Aileen Danvers lies out to Ruby Camarena. Andrew Mueller has a last opportunity to bring the Tree Frogs a bit closer to keeping this game going. Gets a ball, 1-0. And hits a line drive to center field off of a low splitter, which is gonna be a single. bringing Teresa Ryan up. You know, home run here would tie things up. Would bring us at least to the bottom of the ninth. Teresa Ryan hits a ball foul, and then another, bringing the count to 0-2. And another, and Teresa Ryan strikes out swinging. That'll be the end of this game, the end of the season for the Atlanta Tree Frogs, and the St. Louis Archers will advance once again, defeating the Frogs in a postseason series for the finals tomorrow. You've been listening to WFROG 106.2 FM Atlanta. Uh, as I, DJ Toadbug, get ready to sign off, I would like to just once again say a thank you to Today's sponsor, this frog, um, which is the Magnificent Tree Frog, I think. I'll be honest, I closed to the tab that the image is from, and I no longer remember for sure what the species is, but I think it was the Magnificent Tree Frog. And of course, don't forget today's frog fact. Largest frog in the world is the Goliath frog. It can weigh over 3 kilograms or over 7 pounds, which is how much my cat weighs. All right. Well, perhaps one of these days I will commentate on a game that the frogs win. But I suppose today is not that day, and this season is not season for the frogs to win. But that is it for me. I'm going to go to bed. Good night.